Hey everybody, I'm Christopher Green and you're tuning in to AMTV, Alternative Media Television. It is Monday, June 27, 2016, and my, the Brexit hangover begins. Kind of the equivalent of just barfing all over yourself. People are waking up. This isn't going to be as easy as it looks. And again, I congratulate the movement. I congratulate the people taking control, this populist action, this pushback, this anger, really hatred against the New World Order establishment. All that should be applauded. All of that is a good thing. But as I broadcasted over the weekend in our first YouTube live stream ever, thank you for tuning in, supporting us, subscribing at $4.95 a month, $49.95 a year, supporting the new platform and helping us grow. We'll be airing every Tuesday and Thursday, 1 o'clock Arizona time. Make sure to tune in tomorrow.
And we're going to war with these criminals. Interviews here at AMTV Studios. You're in my house now. We're going to turn the spotlight on these people. I'm not afraid of these people, nor should you be. One thing that we learned with this Brexit is the people have power.
Is that don't kid yourself. The New World Order, people like George Soros haven't conceded. Okay, they haven't lost. It's the same reason people like George Soros, betting through very bearish derivative bets, made tens of millions of dollars on Friday, if not more. And they're making more today, with the Dow Jones Industrial Average, last time I checked, down roughly 300 points. That's over a 1,000-point collapse, roughly, in that ballpark, depending, and the greatest shedding of assets, over $2 trillion since what we saw during the 2008-2009 financial crash. So this is a very big deal, folks. This is a huge geopolitical shakeup. In fact, the Kremlin has even equated this to the collapse of the Soviet Union, drawing parallels to that period of time in the early 1990s, one of the greatest geopolitical events that many of us lived through, and many of you baby boomers remember all too well. All of this was predictable, something that we've talked about for over 7 years on this channel, the collapse of the Eurozone. But now we're starting to see it shed its assets in the name of member countries, the UK being the first country to vote to leave. This creates problems. This creates instability. And I personally think, humbly, this is a part of the game plan. This is a part of the New World Order agenda. This is exactly why these elites got together, the Bilderbergs, just a couple weeks prior, discussed this, and people like George Soros placed very specific bearish bets, not to mention also buying a ton, figuratively, a ton of gold, which has since skyrocketed. One of the reasons why I've been recommending it for over 7 years now as a long-term diversification tool, and it should be a part of every person's basket of investment assets. Serious repercussions. People don't think, and I think this is the reset button that has just been pressed, and now we're going to watch the continued destruction and disintegration of this block. And nobody really knows what's going to happen. You see, the markets don't like the great unknown. What we have now is a political vacuum that's needed to be filled, that needs to be filled, which provides the perfect opportunity for the same elites, the people voted against, to fill that void. Don't think for a minute that they don't have a master game plan behind this. Don't think for a minute that people like George Soros don't know what they're doing. They haven't conceded, they haven't lost, and although it's a great thing, a congratulatory event that the people of the United Kingdom just gave Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton the middle finger, there's still much more work to do. And we need to be extremely cautious. This is something that I think that the circle jerkers out there, which I discussed ad nauseum over the weekend with our live broadcast, are failing to realize as of yet. We're starting to see them turn the corner. I mentioned this in our live broadcast. Watch and learn, folks. Watch how these congratulatory pundits, even in the independent media that are just focused on the celebration right now, watch them begin to turn the corner. I'm starting to see this roll out now where they're saying, oh, be cautious now. Oh, yeah, maybe this isn't what it was cracked up to be. Oh, the New World Order has a game plan. Oh, there's going to be further integration now. Oh, they're going to use this as a justification for some kind of additional seminal event, which will only push in more control, more power, and fulfill the agenda, which was the agenda from the get-go, which was the same agenda these were people were meeting about during the Bilderberg meeting just a couple of weeks ago. Again, folks, none of this is a coincidence. I think is a byproduct of the reset button and war again, they will use this as justification for further integration. It could come through the United Nations. That's a very high probability. And when people are suffering, when their incomes decline, unemployment goes up, real estate, stocks crash, and there's instability and the central banks can't control it, they use that as justification for the solution that the New World Order elites will put out on a silver platter for you to consume. This is what I think is the actual game plan. Peter Schiff, maybe he tunes into our broadcasts, pretty much reiterated what I talked about over the weekend, that this is a gift to Janet Hoare Yellen because it gives her an excuse never to raise interest rates. Remember, prior to the Brexit, this hangover, she spoke to the fact that she was going to potentially raise interest rates twice, even this year. Now the futures markets predicts we won't even get a hike till 2018. Another reason this has been part of the agenda. It's a gift basket. As Peter Schiff pointed out, post my commentary on it, you must tune in, that this is a gift basket to the Federal Reserve because it gives them an excuse to keep easing. Negative interest rates in Europe, negative interest rates in Japan, zero interest rates here in the United States, and potentially negative interest rates in the not too distant future. They're never going to raise interest rates because they can't. That's the bottom line. So a seminal moment in history, a huge geopolitical shakeup that I don't think people have fully digested or fully understand what these repercussions will be in the coming days, weeks, and months. Very serious. When the Kremlin and Putin likens this and draws parallels to the collapse of the Soviet Union, although history doesn't necessarily repeat, it rhymes, according to Mark Twain, it's actually a pretty good comparison. Which country is next? Is it troubled Italy? Is it defunct Spain? Watch the pieces come crumbling apart, only so they can offer you, on a silver platter, that new solution, which probably comes from the United Nations in the form of a new name, which will give the elites and provide the smokescreen for justification for further integration. Again, they haven't lost. They've won. George Soros made money on Friday. So did the rest of the crew. He's just one of the few public figures that came out days prior and predicted, although I thought he was bluffing at the time, that we could potentially have a Black Friday, or it could even be worse. We'll see how today turns out, Monday. Dow Jones Industrial Average was down over 300 points. Banks are collapsing around the world, especially in Europe. This is a seminal moment. People just don't get it. The reset button that we've been talking about for years has been pressed. There's an agenda behind this. They have a solution that they're going to provide. It's what they were meeting about several weeks ago at the Bilderberg meeting. Yet for some reason, people are failing to see the forest through the trees. They actually think, and again, I congratulate, it is a huge win. This populism, this populist action of the people, it should be congratulated. But be very, very cautious. There's ulterior motives here. There's an agenda. The game plan is still the same. They have a master plan. The political establishment, the banking establishment, all these people working together to form one world, singular government, where they're all powerful, they have all the control, the people give up their liberty and freedom. We need to keep pushing back. We shouldn't stop now. We shouldn't spend too much time congratulating ourselves. We need to awaken to the truth. We need to understand what's really going on. I'd like to hear your comments, questions. Put them in the box below. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Christopher Green. You're tuning into AMTV, Alternative Media Television. Hard-hitting and in your face. Click the link below to support our sponsor. Peace.